They said the earth holds secrets, but no one believed a king was buried beneath it. When a sacred mask was sold for greed, the drums began to speak, and the Dwarf King awoke. The price for broken promises is not paid in gold. Welcome to Ife Ancestral Tales. This is the Dwarf King. Long ago, before iron meets fire and walls were written on paper, there was a sacred village called Ilé-Ọba, the home of kings. It was a quiet land, surrounded by rolling hills, sacred groves, and whispering forests. The villagers honor the spirit, pour libations to the ancestors, and walk gently upon the earth, knowing that every trees, every rock, and every drop of water had a spirit. Deep beneath the hill of Ilé-Ọba was a place no human had ever seen. A hidden kingdom ruled by a being older than memory. His name was Oba Kekere, the Dwarf King. He was not tall, but he was powerful. His words could bend rivers, and his silence could cause storms. No one spoke of him loudly. Only the elders whisper his name. Mostly at night, near the fire, when the air was still and the ancestors listened. He is tied to the orisha, Eshu, said Mama Awele, the village priestess. He is both gatekeeper and judge. He rewards the humble and punishes the greedy. But not all listen. The new chief of Ilé-Ọba, Chief Ogunleye, was a man of great wealth and greatest pride. His compound were filled with gold. His wives wore coral beads, and his voice boomed louder than thunder. Still, he wanted more. A heart of strange stone on the sacred hill, stone shaped like stool, untouched for centuries. The priestess warned him, "Do not touch the earth. Beneath it slept the old king." But Ogunleye laughed. "Let him sleep," he said. "The land belongs to the living and not the dead." In another part of the village, a young hunter named Adisa woke from a strange sleep. He had seen a woman with glowing white eyes. Ìyá àgbà, the spirit of his ancestors. She spoke in riddles. Follow the sound of drum where there are none. But beneath pride lies the path. The small king hold the heavy truth. He woke in sweat. Adisa was brave, but did not always believe in the old ways. Yet, something inside him stirred. The earth felt different. The wind carried whispers. The tree washed. That evening, as the sun bowed to the horizon, Chief Ogunleye climbed the sacred hill alone. There, he saw the three ancient stones. He smiled. What power lied there? He asked, placing his hand on the stone. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The sky turned grey. Drums began to beat beneath the earth. Dome, dome, dome. Bird flew in fear. Goats screamed. And in the forest, the tree leaned towards Ilé-Ọba as if listening. Beneath the hill, Ọba Kékeré opened his eyes. His throne of stone cracked slightly. His crown of woven shadow flickered. The spirit that guided his rhyme stirred. A promise broken, he whispered. And just like that, the balance between the living and the dead, the seen and the unseen, had begun to break. In the village of Ilé-Ọba, the earth no longer slept. The stones had been touched. The ancient balance had been broken. And beneath the hill, the Dwarf King was awake. The drums were not played by human hands. They came from the bones of the earth, from below where sacred breath and spirit wait. In the village, Adisa ran to the shrine of Mama Awele. Adisa, breathing hard. Mama, I saw him in my dream. The Dwarf King. His eyes burn. He is looking for something. Mama will be calm but heavy. He is not looking, child. He is coming. The elders gathered. The Babalawos read the sacred Odu. The Olorishas danced to summon the Orishas. The mothers of the grove lit 7 fires to call the spirit of the land. but the signs were clear. Something was missing. Something sacred. Something stolen. Where is the marks of the ancestors? Where is the marks worn by the first masquerades? The marks that hold the voice of the forefathers? Mama Wele asks angrily. A villager stepped forward. It was kept in the king's chamber. It should still be. No, it was not there. It was gone. And only one man knew where it has gone. Chief Ogunleyi, blinded with greed, drunk on power, he has sold the sacred mask to a foreign merchant and sold it to him in secret for gold and silk. A sacred item, never meant to leave the soil of Ilé-Ọba, now lost far across rivers and desert in a distant kingdom called Ajita. You have fed death with your greed. That marks was our covenant with the ancestors. Without it, the Dwarf King cannot be calm. That night, the sky cracked with lightning. Rain refused to fall. Cows dropped dead with no sickness. And the earth began to hum. Beneath the hill, the Dwarf King rose from his throne. His staff struck the ground, and cracks began to form across Ilé-Ọba. Return what was mine, he said, or I will return all of you to the dust. There was still a chance. Adisa, the young author, with the pure heart, was chosen by the ancestors. He would journey to Ajita. He would retrieve the marks of the ancestors and bring it back before the 7 drum beats ended the world. But he could not go alone. The Babalawos gave him the Opele of guardians. The Olorishas called on the Ogun to sharpen his path. The mothers sung over his feet so that the spirits of the forest would not harm him. They gave him blessing and warning. You will meet those who lie with smile. You will be tested by shadows and fire. You must not receive or remove the marks yourself. Let the marks come to you. This is serious. Back in the village, Mama Wele and the elders began a great ritual, a binding of protection to hold back the Dwarf King for just a few more days. But it will not last. Even the orishas were growing restless. And the Dwarf King voice echoed beneath the hill. 7 days or no more shall remain. The countdown has begun. The journey has started. And the fate of Ilé-Ọba rested in the hands of one hunter and the lost marks. The earth had spoken. The ancestors had won. And time was running out. Adisa, the hunter with a pure heart, was chosen not by man, but by the spirit. He had one task: to travel beyond rivers, across burning plains, and through kingdoms of shadows, to retrieve the marks of the ancestors stolen by greed, and now guided by strangers who did not fear the gods. Before he left, Mama Awele gave him a gun filled with sacred water from Yemoja's spring. "Drink only when death is near," she said. "It may not save your body, but it can protect your soul." The Olorishas of Ogun gave him a charm, a small iron nail wrapped in red cloth. If doors do not open, this will make them remember respect. And the mothers of the night bless his tongue, so truth and lies would know their place. Adisa's path was not ordinary. The road to Ajita was alive. The tree wash, the river whisper, the wind tested his courage. On the 3rd day, he reached the forest of the forgotten names, a place where spirits walk without feet, and nothing speaks unless spoken to. "Turn back, son of Ilé-Ọba. The marks is no longer yours." Adisa paused. He remembered the riddles from Iyagba, the dream spirit. "You must not remove the marks yourself. Let the marks come to you." So he bowed. He poured a little water from his gun into the earth and whispered, "I seek only what was taken. I disturb nothing else." The forest let him pass. Beyond the forest, he entered the dog's land, where the sun eats strength and the sun hides eyes. There, he met a trader, woman with no shadow, who offered him a deal. "Give me your charm, and I will give you wings to fly to Ajita." But Adisa remembered the words of the elders. Not all who offer help serve the light. He bow again and walk on, tired but untouched. This is serious. At last, on the seventh day, he reached the wall of Ajita, a shining kingdom of marbles and mirror, gold and silk, but no shrine to the ancestors. There, in the palace of King Arumala, hung the marks of the ancestors, locked in a glass case, surrounded by guides, treated like a decoration. Ó mà ṣe o. Adisa's heart broke. The marks was dry. Its power gripping, as if it no longer remember who it was. He knew he couldn't just take it. That would bring more doom. The mark had to return willingly. So that night, under the moon, Adisa sat beside the palace wall and he sang. A song passed from his grandmother. A song sung during Egungun's festival, when the ancestors danced among the living. Then he started singing it. Àwa ni bàbá, àwa ni bàbá, àwa ni bàbá, àwa ni bàbá, Odùduwà bàbá wa. O spirit of the marks, remember your part. He sang it 3 times, and the marks blink. It glows softly, as if waking up from a long dream. The glass shattered on its own. The guides fell asleep where they stood. The marks rose from the case and floated to Adisa's hand. It has chosen him. Not because he was strong, but because he was pure. And just as dawn broke, Adisa began the journey home. But back in Ilé-Ọba, the Dwarf King powers has grown. The sea had dried for one day. Children had stopped speaking. Animals refused to eat. Even the sky had begun to split. Mama Wele and the elders, the babalawos, the olorishas, the mothers, all stood at the sacred grove, chanting with all their heart, but their voices were weak without the marks. The 7 drum beat was near, and only one question remained. Would Adisa return in time? Or would Ilé-Ọba fall into the earth forever? The sky was red. The air was heavy. And the land held its breath. In Ilé-Ọba, the final day had come. At the sacred grove, Mama Wele stood with the babalawos. The orishas and the mothers of the grove, they are drawn the last protective cycle. 7 sacred fire burn. The sacred kola nut had cracked in warning, and in the distance, the 7th drum beat began to echo from the deeps. Doom, doom, doom. The Dwarf King was rising. Mama Wele, shouting, begin the bending. Do not stop chanting, not even if the sky falls. But their power was fading. Without the marks of the ancestors, their prayers felt like smoke. Their chants cracked like old wood. The village began to split. The ground cracked open at the chief's palace, well dried, and flames danced on rivers that should never burn. And still, doom, doom, doom. The Dwarf King's final step echo closer. But far on the horizon, a shape appeared. Dust swelled behind a small figure. His step steady, his heart calm. Adisa had returned, and in his hands, wrapped in white cloth, glowing like sunrise, was the mark of the ancestors. The moment the marks entered the village, the air changed. The earth paused. The ancestors whisper through the trees. He bring back what was ours. Adisa walked straight to Mama Awele, eyes full of fire, but voice humble. I did not steal, he said. I did not force. I only sang, and the marks come home. The elders wept. The mothers fell to their knees. Together as one, they placed the marks on the sacred stone of the first masquerade, and the marks began to speak, not with words, but with wings, with light, with the footstep of those long gone. The voice of the first ancestors filled the air. You have broken the law of the land. You stole the sacred. You spat on the path of those who walk before you. The ground shook again, and Oba Kekere, the Dwarf King, emerged. His skin was like polished stone. His eyes, ancient fire. He was small in size, but the earth bent where he walked. Powerful. Dwarf King, commanding softly. Who broke the promise? The village silent. All eyes turned to Chief Ogunleye. Ogunleye trembling. I only wanted power. I wanted Ilé-Ọba to be fair, to be great. The Dwarf King raised his staff. The wind screamed, thunder rolled, and for a moment, it seems the village would be swallowed. But then, Adisa stepped forward. Adisa pleaded with the great king. Great king, please punish the greedy, but spare the innocent. We have remembered. We have returned the marks. Let the ancestors teach us not to destroy us. Please, I beg of you. The Dwarf King looked at Adisa, then at the elders, then at the marks. He touched it, and instantly the cracks in the ground began to close. The fire in the river vanished. The trees straightened. The sky turned blue once more. The land will forgive, only if you never forget again. He turned to Chief Ogunleye. You may live, but never lead again. And with that, the Dwarf King walked back to the hill and vanished beneath the earth. Ilé-Ọba was saved, not by power, not by gold, but by humility, truth, and unity. The elders sang, the mothers danced, the mark was returned to its sacred place, never to be touched again. And Adisa, the hunter, who once depth the old waste, became a keeper of stories, a guardian of memories, and a bridge between the living and the dead. And from that day on, the people of Ilé-Ọba knew the ancestors do not forget. Beware, for greed does not only destroy gold, it destroys legacy. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification bell so the next tale finds you before the drums do. And share the story so the wisdom of the ancestors travel far. This is Ife Ancestral Tale. Till next time, stay guided.